the face that runs the place.
Long live living.
Goodbye and good night.
How's it going, folks? Welcome to another edition of The Kickout, your weekly pro wrestling guides right here on 90.3 Near FM, on all good podcasting providers, and on the EMC Podcast Network. I'm Dave Cullen, and I'm joined by the man who unbanned the curve stomp, Daragh Maher. Daragh, how are you this afternoon?
I'm good, Dave. But it's not the curb stomp anymore.
Yeah, I heard it has a new name, actually.
It's the Blackout.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And it makes more sense in that way because of... like it goes back to Seth Rollins' character before WWE.
Yes, otherwise known as Tyler Black in his Ring of Honor days.
Indeed.
And his indie days as well. Yeah, I just thought it'd be a great idea the day, the week of Martin Luther King Day. Let's bring back the curb stomp. Obviously a move notorious for its actions in American History X.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
It's kind of.
I'm just saying what the internet's saying. That's all. Because the internet seemed.
What are you reading in that laptop?
I'm not reading anything. I'm looking at emails.
Are you looking at Martin Luther King's Wikipedia or something? Or
No. Just it was. I just found it funny during the week because people have been complaining for ages, or years, nearly years at this stage since they took it away, that they want it back.
Right.
Because his finishers since then haven't really been great. Well, he had the pedigree, which was fine, and then this spinning knee, whatever. It wasn't setting.
That's more of a setup, I think, to it.
Yeah.
That could be his move before the curve stomp.
But now that it is back, people needed something to complain about. So what did they complain about? Complained that it was brought back on Martin Luther King.
Oh, for God's sake! Oh, and that's why I was going to ask you why you brought it up.
Yeah, the week of Martin Luther King Day.
It's ironic. So what?
I know. Well, people, like I said, people need something
I understand.
to complain about.
Oh, but still, lads,
come on. They do.
Lads, seriously, jump into this. If you're offended by this, jump into say like everybody else. I mean that in the sense where it's offensive unless you make it offensive. That's all. But still,
look, that's what they want. They want to complain about something. So.
Yeah, well. But anyway, we're coming to you live from Near FM Studios in the beautiful North Dublin village of Coolock, and we'll be here for the next 2 hours, not complaining about any of these things. We'll bring you the latest news, previews, results, and more from the world of professional wrestling. What'd you say, sorry?
Can't promise that.
We'll see. We'll be giving you the latest news from the world of pro wrestling about here and abroad. We'll be reviewing the past week's action from OTT Contenders 5, WWE Raw, Smackdown 205 Live, NXT, and the Mixed Match Challenge that started this week. And we'll also be previewing events coming up from the likes of OTT, Uprising Belfast, Low Blows, and Fight Factory Pro Wrestling. All that to come, but first we're going to start, as always, with the news.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Also, good news, everyone.
We're going to start the news on a low note, unfortunately, concerning Paige this week. Less than 2 months after returning from neck injury, it appears that Paige's in-ring career with WWE may be over. First reported by IW Insider, Paige was informed this week that she will not be cleared to return to the ring after suffering an injury last month. The report states that the situation has been described as similar to Edge's medical disqualification from in-ring competition, and it's believed Paige was given the news on Raw on Monday. She suffered the injury when being kicked to the back of the head by Sasha Banks during a 6-woman tag match at a house show in Long Island, New York on December 27th. The match was stopped and the stretcher was brought out, but she was able to walk to the back with assistance, and there was initial optimization that the injury is originally believed to be a stinger. While her long-term future wasn't addressed, Paige appeared on Raw and was officially removed from the upcoming Women's Royal Rumble match. So it's such horrible timing, isn't it, for this to happen with the Rumble coming up?
Yes. It was awful. Just when I think it was last Friday, that's when the reports started coming out.
Yeah.
That Paige's career could be done. And then a few more people came out with it, and a few more, and obviously a few credible journalists on Twitter confirmed it as well. It sucks.
Hey, wait a minute. If you say if the news is out on Friday, how come it says that she got the news on Monday then? Or was this the week before?
It was the Monday before.
Oh, okay, makes more sense.
Yeah, it was the Monday before.
Okay. Even so, though, like, because like here's Paige, who's probably, of all the women, certainly in the main roster, like she's probably one of the most experienced ones of the current crop at the moment.
For only 25 as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now because of her injury, and it's just awful. It's just awful.
It sucks. Like if we take away the fact that it's Paige, if we break it down to the bare bones here, that it's a 25-year-old woman who's just been told she can't continue on in the career that she has worked so hard for, and the only thing that she ever wanted to do, and she has to retire at 25.
Yeah.
It's awful.
An awful situation. Just to put another note on it, actually, just to give another shout to another show. The guys from Dynamo's Dozen, they'll be interviewing Ricky Knights, who is Paige's father. Yeah. Like so, and he probably have a lot to talk about the situation about what's going on there. So shout out to those guys. They had me on again last week, just going back over New Japan, stuff like that. But yeah, God, I can't imagine what they're going through. Like, imagine they're thinking, God, here she's doing so well, and now this happening as well. So
exactly. Obviously, it wasn't mentioned about on Raw, which I found a little weird. That normally when there's this much talk about it, and it's been confirmed by so many sources, that normally WWE come out and say something, but for them still not to say anything at this stage.
Well, if it's confirmed reports, it doesn't. Then it's kind of strange to be mentioned. Maybe it's just rumors, as far as I can tell, and maybe they're trying to see the wave and see what happens.
Not this many. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think it's just.
I
think we all hope it is.
It's so many because of the news story.
We're doing it more out of hope than expectation. I think
maybe
we're hoping that this is going to be rumors and we're all going to be proven wrong, and Paige is going to be back in the ring.
And the reason there's so many sources, though, is because it's such a big story.
Yeah, even it was interesting going back. Lillian Garcia does a podcast now.
Yeah,
like every ex-wrestler does a podcast now. She had Paige on just before she made her comeback, and she actually talked about being cleared for her neck injury and saying that WWE doctors eventually cleared her, but regular doctors advised her to never get into a ring again.
So is it that bad?
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens anyway. We'll move on anyway. Some good news concerning the upcoming Hall of Fame later on this year.
Yes, it's coming up to that time of year. It's WrestleMania season. Wrestling's getting interesting. About time.
Well, you know how we talked about last year how WrestleMania is sort of like wrestlers' version of Christmas. It's like the Rumble is like it's like Halloween. It's exactly
kind
2 months before.
Yeah. So it's getting you ready. It's getting you in that Christmas mood. Yeah. But anyway, WWE have announced this week that Goldberg will be inducted, I should say, into their Hall of Fame over WrestleMania weekend in New Orleans. WWE revealed the news via ESPN, saying, at the end of the day, any business, any venture that you embark on, you want some type of acknowledgement. Goldberg told ESPN.com. You always try to make it to the top. There's no reason to do anything unless you want to be the best. Goldberg returned to WWE for the first time in nearly 13 years towards the end of 2016. His in-ring return came after he had chosen to be on the cover of that year's 2K video game, and things went better for Goldberg this time around than they did during his initial stint with the company in 2003 and 2004. He squashed Brock Lesnar in his first match back, and then their program continued until WrestleMania when Goldberg dropped the Universal Championship to him. Goldberg cut a post-show promo on Raw after WrestleMania where he didn't close the door on stepping back into the ring. Before his WWE stints, he was the last true superstar that WCW produced.
When you think about it, he was actually the only superstar that actually got think of it this way: when WCW were around against the rivalry of WWE, especially during the Monday Night Wars, you could argue that Goldberg was the only guy who actually was produced from WCW at all. A lot of guys who came in were either produced before or brought in from WWE. You know, you have your Hogans, your Pipers, your Stings, your Kevin Nash, your Scott Hall. Here's Goldberg that was produced from the Power Plant system, and then a year later he's world champion. So yeah, so his career is definitely noteworthy. He's a definitely worthy Hall of Fame, like a definitely worthy headliner for this year's Hall of Fame. Considering like his reputation he's gained, more so in the limelight. Like obviously we said there in the news that he had a trouble past, especially during his first run with WWE, and you see how he's improved ever since. Like if you see his documentary,
No.
or his recent one, I've only seen bits of it myself, but it seems like he's talking a lot more to everybody from Vince down. So
yeah. Oh, excellent. Yeah, it was just a lot of controversy. I think it was. I don't know. Things didn't seem to settle right for him in WWE. I don't know why that is. Back in 2003 and 2004, it was just maybe a different landscape then. I don't know. Maybe just didn't cater to his talents more than the way they did, obviously, in his other run. I think they had him in a lot longer matches than he was usually used to.
Maybe
back then.
Competitive matches.
Competitive matches, you could say. Yeah.
But I hate to think that Goldberg is that dominant, where his character is too dominant to the point where he couldn't have a competitive match. But then again, like going back,
if you go back to WrestleMania, it wasn't a long match, but it was a competitive match.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about the bad WrestleMania match. Just past WrestleMania.
Oh, okay, that was a much better match. Yeah.
The WWE now have figured out ways of making short matches, but entertaining matches.
Yeah.
And actually still being able to tell the full story in that time.
Yeah, it works. It certainly works for someone of Goldberg anyway. So, but yeah, as I said, like, you know, he became such a huge star in WCW. Like, you know, he was basically their Stone Cold Steve Austin at one stage.
Yeah.
So,
what was it, 178, was it?
174.
174.
I think. Maybe 170. It was definitely 170 something. I don't know.
Yeah.
3 or 4, I'm not sure, like, exactly. Like, it's still in debate, to be honest with you, even to this day, of how many wins, because I imagine a lot of them were either from house shows or actually, I didn't even make, but more to the point, some were included. I think some were included as Battle Royale eliminations, because remember that Battle Royale when he jackhammered the Giants or Big Show? We have to look back. It's the first time I think he did it, like, because imagine suplexing a man that size.
True.
Not many. I don't think anyone can do that, like, or. But then again, it is what it is, like, so. But you know, again, congratulations to Goldberg. So we'll move on. What has been seeming like something we've all known for a long time now. It was announced by WWE this week that Ricochet has signed with WWE and is reported to the Performance Center. WWE revealed the news via an article on their website, where they hyped Ricochet as a prolific high flyer and mentioned his Battle of Los Angeles and Best of Super Junior wins. Ricochet wrestled his last match before reporting to WWE for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla at last Friday, so not Friday yesterday, as in Friday the week before, where he wrestled Chuck Taylor, who actually, I don't know if you know this, he was his trainer, original trainer, yeah. And said farewell after the match. Ricochet is one of several wrestlers who scheduled supports to the Performance Center this week, with Candice LeRae and War Machine, Raymond Rowe and Hanson as the other most notable names. LeRae's final independent wrestling appearance was against Joey Ryan, her longtime tag team partner for Bar Wrestling, on Thursday. Rowe made his final appearance for AIW just yesterday, and Hanson said farewell at Chaotic Wrestling the past week. War Machine at their last match for Ring of Honor back in December and made their final appearance for New Japan Pro Wrestling at New Year's Dash. So it's, in a way, it's sad to see them go away from the indies, but at the same time, they're, like we talked about this before, especially in Ricochet's case, like, it's like, imagine they're going for WWE or the Performance Center for more than just great reasons of developing their career, but also for family reasons as well.
Well, I think in the case of all of them, it is that it's not just Ricochet, of course. Yeah, he does have a young family, and he that ideally probably wants to spend as little time as possible away from them.
Yeah.
In WWE, you get that. It's the same as Candice LeRae, obviously, is married to Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
Wants to spend as much time as they can together. I'm sure she's on the road a lot doing indie shows, where Johnny probably has these like 3-4 week stints where he's not doing a lot because of the tapings of NXT.
Pretty much.
And then also you have Raymond Rowe, who of course is engaged to Sarah Logan.
Yep.
So
from the Red Squads.
Exactly. So there you go. So they're planning a wedding soon. They're planning spending their life together. I'm sure they want to do it together without them both travelling different places all the time.
Speaking of that, by the way, it was something we don't mention here in the news, but Tessa Blanchard, actually, Ricochet's other half. She is in this All In cards now. She's ready herself. So
yeah, she said she's all in for the proposed 10,000 seater Young Bucks or the Elite led show in September 1st, wasn't it?
Yeah,
September 1st. I was thinking more about that actually. I'm interested that you brought it up.
Yeah.
If it's the same weekend as Bola, okay?
Yeah.
Who are they going to get on the show? Because most of them are going to be going to Bola.
Yeah.
So how's it going to work out?
Well, as I said, if it's a case where if it's around the same weekend, where remember, keep in mind this is just one show, so they could easily have if let's say for example it's on a Saturday.
I don't know. Hold on.
Well, the way it works.
Let's find out when September 1st is.
Well. Besides that, let's paint a picture here. It's a weekend. Imagine it's on from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as it would mostly be like any indie show, especially a tournaments.
Yeah.
Now, if they have maybe the names they want to have booked, for the show that will be on a Saturday, they'd have all the guys they want for it then on the Friday.
Mm. But
fly
the thing
out,
is,
they come back then for the finals.
The guys who perform in Bola are there all 3 days.
Yeah, it's true. That's a problem. Yeah. So that's why it's interesting. You know, it's hard to put your finger your finger down on it, isn't it? Like unless it's guys who like. I don't know. It's kind of one to know what's going to happen really. It's hard to really put your finger down on how they're going to book it. Like, imagine they have no problem booking whoever down for the tournament, like, you know. But it's just become such a huge tournament now in world indie wrestling.
Yeah,
is Battle Los Angeles. Here's Dave Meltzer saying it's competing with the G1 Climax, which considering the last tournament is such an outrageous statement. Like, but you almost have to agree with him at the same time because the quality of matches. Yeah. That are coming from that, and the guys who are wrestling who are either experienced or coming in for the first time and are making a name for themselves is just incredible. Like so.
But yeah, going back to the original story, there's kind of family permutations to them signing with WWE. Now, I'm not saying that they never wanted to sign with WWE.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, and obviously, like, these guys are grown up watching WWE, so it would have been a dream for them to sign for them.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see them.
It'd be interesting to see how they get.
Yeah. I hope they all go to NXT. I want them to start in NXT and then go.
They have to. No, they will.
Yeah. There's a lot of rumours about EC3 as well.
I heard about that. Yeah, but there's rumours he'll be going straight to the main roster.
Yeah. Well, he had to cancel an indie date the same night as Royal Rumble.
As a Rumble, yeah.
And NXT recently, the official NXT Twitter page recently followed him.
Is that right? Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, NXT followed him as opposed to WWE.
Yeah. Well, WWE NXT.
I wouldn't mind Ethan Carter the third on NXT either, but I think he's
main roster ready.
He's good enough for main roster though already, like it. So it'd be awesome. But it'd be better. It'd be more interesting to see like Candice LeRae. I can imagine if they have her in quick enough, you could have her like as a corner on Johnny Gargano's corner when he faces Andrade Almas.
Could do that.
Why not?
But they have to really ramp up that story then, though.
Yeah, it makes sense if you watched it lately. That would make a lot of sense. Like it would be that extra person. Like, and here's. I still fancy
I still fancy that Ciampa is going to get involved.
You're probably right.
I still think he's going to get involved.
I can only imagine the matches that War Machine will have. I can't wait to see him and maybe Undisputed Era.
Them and Authors of Pain.
Authors of Pain as well. Can you imagine that?
God, be a train wreck. An absolute train wreck.
But here's the War Machine, who are way more athletic, or well, they can. They're much faster. Like, I'm not saying the other guys aren't athletic, but
them War Machine against Heavy Machinery.
Yeah, even that.
They'd have to reinforce the ring.
Most definitely. Anyway, we'll move on. Some interesting news concerning Jey Uso this week.
Yes, Jey Uso, also goes by the real name Joshua Fatu, was arrested in Texas over the weekend for alleged driving while intoxicated. Records show that Fatu was arrested on Sunday and released the same day on a $500 personal reconciliation bonds. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Further details, including an arrest report, have yet to be made available. The Usos defend their tag team titles against Rusev and Aiden English and the Bludgeon Brothers in a triple threat match in Hidalgo on Sunday. Then faced the New Day, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin and Rusev and English in Corpus Christi the next night. Whether Fatu will be kept off television at all remains to be seen, even though he was on TV just this Tuesday on SmackDown actually. The Usos are scheduled to defend the titles against Gable and Benjamin in 2 out of 3 Falls match at the Royal Rumble later this month. Fatu twins brother Jimmy Uso, or real name Jonathan Fatu, will team with Naomi in the Mixed Match Challenge, but their first round match isn't until the 4th week of the tournament. WWE issued a statement on Fatu's arrest. Joshua Fatu is responsible for his own actions. We are investigating the matter and await information from local law enforcement officials.
It's interesting, anyway.
Yeah.
Imagine just a once, like the way it's been reported, it's like a once-off thing. It's not as serious as I say Rich Swann situation earlier, like a while ago.
It's still serious, like drink driving. Sorry, I don't have any tolerance for that.
I understand. No, that's fine.
You know, I don't think
it is dangerous, and it could kill someone. But
yeah, exactly.
It's just a shame because the Usos are just they're in such a roll.
I know,
such a roll.
I know, but this just shows that you kind of have to. You always have eyes watching you, and you have to keep things. There's no need, absolutely no need for drink driving. None. Yeah. You know, if you know you're driving, don't have a drink. If you want to drink, don't drive. You know, there's no need to have alcohol and drive.
Yeah, or drink. Yeah, simple as that. There's not much I can add to that, really. Like, I hope it doesn't interfere with the Rumble match, though. I hope it still can happen because the rivalry.
Well, look, if it does, it's his fault.
I'm being selfish for that, obviously, but like if it happens, I'm blaming him, obviously. So, or if it doesn't happen, more so it doesn't happen. But we'll move on. There's not much more we can add to that, really. On Wednesday, WWE star Roman Reigns released a statement regarding claims earlier this week that he was a customer of an accused steroids dealer. Quote, I have never heard of Richard Rodriguez or Wellness Fitness Nutrition. I learned from the mistake I made nearly 2 years ago and paid the penalty for it. Since then, I have passed 11 tests as part of WWE's independent drug testing program. This began when a phone interview with Rodriguez was released on YouTube where he alleged that he dealt steroids to Reigns and actors Mark Wahlberg and Josh Duhamel under accused names. Rodriguez, owner of a gym in Miami, Florida, is facing charges for conspiracy to distribute anabolic steroids and money laundering in a $10 million operation that crossed international waters. Wahlberg has also denied the claims. The mistake the 32-year-old Reigns is referring to is his 30-day suspension in June 2016 after failing a wellness test. That was like one of our first ever shows when we reported that.
Yeah. I heard this thing. I watched this YouTube video about the guy who's at the time, was being interviewed from prison. He already is in jail.
It's kind of weird.
This Richard Rodriguez guy.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, I'm not saying it's weird to interview someone from jail, but here's someone who's in there for a reason and he's talking about it. Yeah. I don't know. You'd think he'd say, like, you'd think straight away he'd try to defend himself as much as he can.
Where's the proof?
Enough said.
Where's the proof? You know, and
it's accusations. It's no thing.
And the thing that's kind of is not concerning. The thing that I don't really appreciate is the fact that once this story got out, people were saying Reigns was guilty already.
Well, that's the problem with Roman Reigns.
And they were already celebrating the fact that he'll get a second violation and he won't be in the main event of WrestleMania. And I just thought, like, why? Like,
that's so many.
What's the point in it? Why are you so vehement against getting Roman taken off shows and stuff? Okay, you don't agree with his booking, but don't try and get the chap fired. Like, you know, it's not him. Exactly. He's only out there to wrestle the matches, and he wrestles the matches quite well.
Very well.
He doesn't choose.
He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, in my opinion.
Exactly. He doesn't choose where he gets booked in the show. So,
and that's WWE. That's a problem they have with their, like, you know, they're the ones who are giving these guys what they have, and there's no other way around it, by the way. Like, and it's either you like it or you don't like it, and I imagine a lot of fans don't like it, and that's very understandable. Like, we hear complain about it all the time, or say, well, this could be better, and we're like, you know, it's not the booker's fault. They're trying their best out there. Like, you know, like, Reigns is doing everything he can to, like, I can never understand why he's not over at all. Like, you know, I said many times, but to be like straight away to think, well, that he's guilty, like, over accusation from a guy who seems very dodgy, like, from being interviewed from jail. I mean, what else can you say about that? Like, you know, exactly. I mean, and I think as well, like, what I like about this, or certainly from Reigns' defense, that he admits that he's made mistakes, and he acknowledges that, and he's not ashamed of that. And I think it's made him a better wrestler as a result of that. Like, you know, like the standards of matches he's had ever since. Like, you know, where he's been, especially lately. Actually, when you think about it, like, you get the sense he's getting slowly but surely more over with the male consensus, if you like. But, you know, no, it doesn't surprise me.
It will, but once it comes to WrestleMania, and once he wins the title off Brock at WrestleMania, it'll go straight back down again.
Think so?
It will, yeah.
I don't know.
It's just that's the way. It's just the way. That's the way fans will go. It's just because that's the way they'll always go with Roman. You know, unless they pull the trigger and turn him heel, they'll never accept him.
Maybe. Well, who knows? He could turn heel when he becomes champion. Maybe he needs to be booed for a reason.
He could be. He could be.
That's the thing. But
it doesn't matter. Like, at this stage, it doesn't matter. Like, the moment he turns heel, the crowd are gonna cheer him.
Why don't WWE just do that then? They should just do that, especially if they think about it. If they've had this match for a year.
If I knew why they didn't, I wouldn't be here. I'd be working there with them.
I think we've said that many times. Like, we think we could do such a better job, but it'll probably be just as bad. Like, for us, if we try it, though.
Well, to be fair, like, if we were writers of SmackDown, we wouldn't be doing what they're doing at the moment.
What's that?
Copying Raw.
Well, all it did this week was just a tournament.
Yeah, but their women's stuff is copying.
Oh, yeah. It's ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
But for all we know, it's the same writer.
Nope.
It would make more sense if it was.
I think Road Dogg is the head writer of SmackDown now.
Okay. Well, he's the head writer. He's probably not responsible for...
But he has...
It goes through him.
It goes through him, yeah. Exactly. He was one that sets out the agenda, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, what did they do on Raw the previous night? Yeah, just do that. Okay, cool. Grand.
Boggles the minds.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yes, moving on. Progress held their latest card, Chapter 61, over in Birmingham last Sunday, the 14th of January. Results are as followed. The grizzled young veterans, otherwise known as James Drake and Zach Gibson, retained their Progress Tag Team titles against Mustache Mountain, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven. Drew Parker defeated Chris Ridgway. Millie McKenzie and Carly Evans defeated Nia Samuels and B. Priestley. Pete Dunne retained his WWE UK Championship against Joseph Connors. Will Ospreay beat Adam Brooks. Jimmy Havoc and Mark Haskins defeated Aussie Open, Mark Davis and Carl Fletcher. And then Travis Banks retained his Progress World title against his fellow CCK member Chris Brooks.
Interesting results, especially with I don't think there's any problems with Brooks and Banks as far as I'm aware. It was just an opportunity, and Chris Brooks is from Birmingham as well. Like, so he's like he trained with Pete Dunne like when they were coming up.
Yeah.
I think Tyler Bate and Ryan Smile were among that group as well. Yeah, it was actually in a documentary before, actually, when Pete Dunne was only up and coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when it was Dunne, Smile, Chris Brooks, and Tyler Bates who were in some like gymnastics place where they're trying to do flips or stuff like that. So.
Oh, okay.
It's stuff you kind of sometimes wish you couldn't watch.
Yeah. In
a sense where, well, it's great and all about kayfabe. You know? But no,
kayfabe is dead, Dave. Get over it.
But, you know, try and make an effort, though. It's because they're not making efforts.
True.
The effort of making kayfabe isn't there anymore. Simple as that. Like, I guess I'm becoming old school all of a sudden. I don't know. Something's wrong with me. I'm getting old. I'm 29. I'm 29 next month.
We are old. Oh God.
Actually, I'm not that old, but I don't know.
God. Oh God, no. Oh no, you're 29. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I turn it into a complaint, and then
everybody listens to us shouting at you right now, saying he's only 29.
I don't know what the average age of the people who listen to the show is. Could be way younger. But anyway, it's it'd be interesting. I would be interested to see the Dunne and Connors match and the Banks and Brooks match in particular. I'm thinking of getting actually Progress on Demand actually, because it's really popular in Ireland. Like, there's a huge fan base to go over and watch it, like, or as many as they can anyway. Like, I know a few guys certainly go to the OTT shows who try their best to go. There's a huge group, I think they're going to the Super Strong Style tournament that's back in Alexandra Palace.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so and again we talk about all these indie tournaments, that's right up there if you ask me.
Yeah.
So the winner gets a title shot eventually, but cool, it's interesting. Anyway, we'll move on in the meantime. We talked about this a few weeks ago. WWE Mae Young Classic participant Jazzy Galbert will be undergoing surgery today to repair 3 hernia discs, which was noted during a recent appearance in the Edge and Christian Pod of Awesomeness, preventing her from being signed to a WWE developmental deal. Gabbert was not supposed to go under the knife this early, but did note on her official Twitter accounts that due to someone getting sick and cancelling their surgery, that a space opened up for her. So we here in the Kickout want to extend our best wishes as she recovers from surgery, and by the sound of things, it's what she needed, and really is what she needs to get to the next step. Like, because as we said before, like, their performance in WWE like merits like an opportunity. Like, so
exactly. We mentioned the story last week as well about her neck injury as well, that caused her not to get her WWE contract. So, like we said, go back, heal up, get the neck strong again, and then come back and get that contract.
Indeed. So we wish you all the best. So we'll finish off the news with some disappointing news, and especially for you. We'll have to especially for you, Darrin.
I know. Former WWE composer and my dad, Jim Johnson, was a recent guest on the Primetime with Sean Mooney podcast, and opened up on his departure from the company, noting that things started to change for him around 3 or 4 years ago due to politics behind the scenes, but did not provide additional detail other than noting that he trusted friends who turned out not to be friends. Johnson noted that his departure/firing was done by Vince McMahon during a brief phone conversation, and said that he thinks there were better ways to end it, while everyone could have walked away with a much better feeling. Johnson said that after 32 years for the WWE, it felt like a lost opportunity to him, and that he did not really understand it.
What I don't get about this most of all is that WWE haven't acknowledged his departure whatsoever.
They never mentioned it once. Yeah, not once.
And considering what he's done,
there's definitely something going on there.
What has he done? Like, is it politics? Is it all behind the scenes, or is he involved in something?
I think there was some sort of really big argument or really big falling out.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, 3 or 4 years ago, wasn't that when CFOS started?
Yeah.
Around that time, wasn't it?
Yeah. They probably pushed him out. They were meant to work together, and I think they probably had creative differences, and I think they probably went for the younger guys and got rid of the older guy.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
it's just a shame considering. Like, I mean, it is what it is, but like, considering what he's done and all the songs he's produced, from the Undertakers to Stone Cold Steve Austin's to the Ultimate Warriors, like all these phenomenally iconic songs.
Yeah,
and now, and the guy who's written them, like, at least give him that, like, you know, at least give him his due, like, give him his credits. I mean, considering the work he's done for them, like, it's only makes sense that you acknowledge it instead of letting all the bitterness of whatever goes on behind the scenes. And we might never know what it is. And I imagine Jim Johnson is legally not allowed to say it. It's not yet anyway. So, but in the meantime, at least
a non-disclosure clause or something.
Yeah. But at least give him the man his due, like, you know.
Yeah, I know. But it looks like they won't do that. So I think, the fight is pretty bad, whatever it was.
I'm saying it right now.
I'm hoping one day that he does come out and say something. Yeah,
but let's hope it's all sorted out. And I'm saying it right now: Jim Johnson, WWE Hall of Fame 2019. Maybe a lot later. I hope it's a lot sooner though.
I'd hope sooner rather than later, because he actually does deserve to be in it for so many, like you said, so many iconic themes. Yeah, it's only fair. And
they acknowledge people who are not actually wrestlers in the Hall of Fame. That's why Jey Uso is and Gordon Soley and all those guys are still there. So makes sense. Just do it. Like, who else would be in the Hall of Fame and can claim he's just a musician? By the Honky Tonk Man, of course. But is he even in the Hall of Fame actually? Imagine he would be.
Who was put in it? Well, Motorhead were put into it, weren't they? Lemmy was anyway. He was an honorary inductee or something. Wasn't he
was probably in the celebrity wing. Yeah,
when he passed away.
I actually don't know. I think you're right, and it actually would make a lot of sense if he was. So
yeah,
he's a musician, and he's one of the most famous musicians of all time.
Exactly.
Shout out to them, by the way, because their full original lineup has died. I think it was their drummer who died a few weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Or was it this week? I'm not too sure. And my bands were talking about during the week, and it's like it was a bit sad, but there you go.
It is.
There we go. Anyway, let's continue on with our results of the week.
Oh my God! What the hell is going on? Oh my God! OTT! OTT! OTT!
OTT Contenders 5, which took place last Saturday in the Ringside Club in the National Stadium in Dublin. Their first OTT's first show of the year, and it's cool, like, because they're actually really pulling the initiative when it comes to the Contender show. They're having as many shows for Contenders now as much as the main shows now, which I think is awesome.
Yeah,
and it's cool because like, I think we have a good enough young roster now that, like, even guys who come in, like imports who come in, it gives an opportunity to wrestle with those guys as well as the more experienced guys. So it works in both ways, doesn't it?
It does. It's kind of like their NXT before their...
Pretty much.
Yeah, before their main show. Obviously, it's just not the night before, but it's still... shows have been coming better. Like, looking at it's like the shows are gathering pace. It's sort of like on a par nearly with the...
It's ironic because NXT is almost the most preferred roster for a lot of fans and watch WWE.
Yeah,
you can almost imagine this becoming the case one day. I'm not saying it'll eclipse the OTT's main show. I'm just saying it's certainly it's getting such an audience now.
Exactly.
So
and like the shows are selling out as well, which is great for the lads as well, getting the performance in front of full crowds.
Indeed, yeah.
I still haven't gotten the chance to go down to one yet, so probably getting my tickets. When do I get paid? I get paid Friday, so probably Friday is when I'm going to get my ticket for.
Well, they announced after the show anyway that for their next event next month that Bolo Promotions, Kip Sabian and who's the other person? And Girl Coffee were announced for that one. So Bolo Promotions and particularly keen to check out. But we'll talk about this first. Scotty Davis, fresh from Legit 100. All the guys from Legit 100, Michael May and Scotty Davis, came out in their Legit 100 theme actually. And actually, if you listen to it a few times, actually is quite an awesome theme song they have as well. I forget the band who it's from. Like, it's on my Spotify somewhere, but it's another story. Took on 8 kids who some fans from Cork may be familiar with from he wrestles down there at that time. But he's also I've checked out his Twitter account and he and the promotion he wrestles for is White Wolf Wrestling in Madrid. And they're actually a quality promotion. If you look through the promo and the crowds they draw and the type of wrestling they produce, it's one to check out for sure.
Yeah,
they attracted guys like Ricochet and stuff like that when he was before obviously now like wrestling there. So very interesting to see. It was a very competitive match. A-Kid's actually a fantastic wrestler. Like he gave Scotty a very good match, very back and forth. Scotty used a lot of his ground wrestling. It was very back and forth with high flying as well. It was a very complete match in terms of it told the story of the guy coming in against Scotty Davis, who is everyone knows now at this stage, like, you know, and I almost put A-Kid over, even though Scotty won. He won it with like a version of the Crossroads. It put A-Kid over. Okay, this guy's good. I want to see him again. And have another match with Scotty, like, you know, probably start something new with that, like, so. But it was an awesome match. Like, I didn't mention before this match started, they had a bit of a promo where it was the 3 guys from Legit 100. It was Curtis Murray, Michael May, and Scotty Davis. They're talking amongst each other, saying how awesome it was being in National Stadium last month. Here is first Mayfield Martin, then Darren Carney, and then LJ Cleary, then coming up saying, yeah, well, it should have been us. And they were like, listen, it was picked on the nights. Yeah, but we're the best wrestlers here. Yeah. Oh, no, are you sure about that? So it was kind of an interesting standoff. And then when they walked away, here's Gavin Fitz, Russell Dumpster, and Eddie Stone, thinking, I don't know what they said, but I think someone laughed from what they said in their accents, which we shouldn't encourage. But but it's interesting. Like, okay, there's three factions. What's going to happen here? Yeah, and we figure that later on. So, but no, as I said, Davis won the match, but A-Kid's got a very good reception as well. So it was a good show to open. So moving on to Session Matt Martina and the Fabulous Nikki took on Team Tropicana. The story just going into it was like a hashtag fancies Martina. Did you see that on Twitter actually?
I did, yes.
And I think it was over, I don't know I didn't pay attention fully to what it was, but I think it was where there was a rumour that Captain Sexy fancied Martina. Yeah, or something like that. It was a brilliant match, as you'd expect, like, from in terms of comedy matches. I love the gear from Martina as well. Like, you know how she sometimes would be wearing like leopard pajamas and stuff. She actually wore proper tights and knee pads and stuff like that. So it was a pretty good match. In the end, I'm not sure how it actually finished. It was I think it was just a scramble, and then it was a super kick from Nikki, and then the code breaker on Adam Apex for the win. So, and y'all hugged it out at the end. Like, it's one of those comedy matches where there's a comedic grudge at the start, and all ends in hugs after, I suppose.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but
that it? That what was the show? Oh, not the show. The promo was really good.
Yeah,
on it. Leading up to it.
I'm really enjoying Team Tropicana, I have to say. They're an awesome tag team. They're super sexy slip and slides, which actually they did that on Martina, but it knocked Captain Sexy out. As you can imagine. Nathan Martin took on El Fantismo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He had a class entrance, by the way. He's from Vancouver, I think, but he came out very Prince Devitt, if you like, or Chris Jericho, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
The whole lights went out, and he came out with or even like Naomi, where he had all these like Kanye West like sunglasses that went multicolor.
Yeah.
And the edges of his jacket were like glow in the dark. So
I did see that.
It's a nice touch.
I did see the preview video on YouTube. I didn't get to watch the full show yet.
I saw one of his matches. I saw the highlights of a match he had against Brian Cage, which is actually a quality match, so I think, oh great, I can't wait to see how he gets on with him. So it was a very competitive match, back and forth. It was Martin who got the win with his version of the Destino move. So, but again, it's another match. It's a type of match that puts Martin over. Like, you know, someone experienced coming in.
Yeah.
Another import who's putting Martin over, and he's only getting he's getting huge momentum at the moment. It's exactly
what they need. It's opening eyes to new talent while also getting over the current talent even more.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily have to win or lose. Once it seems like a competitive match, then that's perfect. Once it tells that story, it's spot on.
Exactly.
Like, you know, like in this case, Martin won. In A-Kid's a new guy now, but probably his loss puts him over because his stock's risen now as a result of that. Because, like, even though he's probably like very well known in Cork and in Spain, now he's familiar in Dublin. So it works well in that case. So
it should open up to probably more appearances here now as well.
Exactly. A mixed tag team match between Be Cool and Debbie Cattell against the debuting Gunter Isaac and Raven Creed. This feud was from the last Contenders, where Gunter Isaac tried to attack Debbie Cattell after she faced Raven Creed, and Be Cool made the save, making this match. Gunter Isaac is a scary heel. And I loved what he said I love what he said actually, where I'm Trio 5 Live.
Yeah.
How cool is that? But no, his size and his presence, like even when he's against Be Cool or Debbie, like he was trying to have like here's Debbie who has this thing now. Oh, speaking of that, she was trying to she lifted and did the gorilla press on Raven Creed, but here is Be Cool, who has the squat gimmick. And I think after that, people went after she did the gorilla press on Raven Creed, it was like lift. So it's not gonna be a gimmick, you know.
Could be.
You know, she has a powerlifting background, that could work. You know.
Are you just trying to start a gimmick for her now, are you?
No, listen, I'm not one to suggest anything. I'm just saying it's something she could use. Certainly, if she teams up again with Be Cool.
Yeah.
He squats,
she lifts. He squats, she lifts. Yeah. He squats, she lifts. He squats, she lifts. He squats, she lifts.
It's like
work.
It's like a weird pop song the way you say that.
Squat, lift, squat, lift. Yeah, that could work.
What's that technique in lifting where we have to squat first and then lift? It's Olympic sports, clean and jerk or something.
Yeah, something similar to that.
I'm not encouraging that name for a tag team. Back to the match.
Squat and lifts. The squat lifts.
Squat lifts.
Squat lifts, maybe. Squat and lift.
Squat and lift.
Not too sure now.
I'm not sure either.
I think you're gonna have to put some more effort into that team name, Dave.
It's not for us to think about, to be honest with you. We're just thinking about it here. It was a great match. Raven Creed and Debbie Cattell, they as always I'm really enjoying their rivalry, as we said, and it didn't surprise me why they finished second in the Kickies. And considering, even though this is a fairly new rivalry, it's only happened towards the end of last year. Imagine what kind of blossom it can blossom to like as the year goes on. Like, so
yeah.
It was the end. In the end, it was Raven Creed's who got a chair and attacked Be Cool, I think it was, and causing a disqualification loss for Isaac and Creed. So looks like it could continue more, this rivalry more between the two of them now, like going into maybe the next Contender show. So
yeah,
get a clean winner of that. So Now, LJ Cleary took on Dave Mastiff. Dave Mastiff is huge, by the way, especially like, and LJ is about my height, and here's Dave Mastiff, who's probably my height in width. I'm exaggerating, but you get the idea. And but like even though he's a heel, LJ, and this is here's the thing. Now we talk about how it's great we're getting people over in OTT, but here's LJ who's a heel. And especially now with his involvements with his faction now, is he getting over to the point now where he's becoming a face, in your opinion, or certainly for anyone who would watch OTT?
It's sort of that how do we say, tweener?
A bit in betweener.
Bit of a tweener, yeah. Like getting over the crowd, but he's still, you know, he's still playing that heel gimmick.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
Well, he probably plays it when he's by himself, but when he's with his friends, then it's out the window maybe. So maybe it's a two-side sort of thing, like, you know. It was a very good match. He tried anything and everything to try and get the advantage in this match. Like when you probably saw in the preview when he tried to push, when Dave Mastiff tried to push him in the corner. Foxy. By the way, we didn't mention Foxy sporting a new haircut. That's another story.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Why did you mention it sooner?
Because I thought it'd be you. I knew you'd say it.
All right, and then when his back was turned, he pretended he was hit.
Yeah,
and it was clever until the third time he was like, "Ref." It was a very good match, though. In the end, though, I think it was. I'm not sure how the disqualification was caused. I think it was. Oh, I know now. It was when the his Foxy's was against the corner, and LJ hit Foxy in the back, then went down, and immediately the ref thought it was Dave Mastiff and got him disqualified. Yeah. He ran around the ring doing his lap with his hands up, but then he got cannonballed at the end of the match, so he walked away a loser, if you like. So, it was a very entertaining match, though. Like, here's LJ who's trying to get an advantage, but Dave Mastiff is too big and too strong and too scary, but he found the way in the end. So it told a good story. That's what I like about these matches. It still tells the right story. Like, so. Yeah. Now, Doug Williams, the ambassador of British Wrestling, took on Michael May. Very, very good match. Brilliant. Like, as you'd expect, like, fantastic technical match. There was a stage at one point where Michael May couldn't get out of even a simple wrist lock from Doug Williams, because even when he tried to roll him, nope, I still got you. Rolled again, nope, I still got you. Yeah. It must have happened at least 4 times until eventually he broke away. But very good match. I think it was back and forth. He was very close to beating him in the end. I think it was Williams who got a roll up just to win. Like, it was a very competitive match. It was basically like the up and comer against the experienced veteran, but the veteran just had the advantage in the end. So, but again, it's one of these matches that only enhances May, like, of how good he is in competing against a very experienced technician such as Doug Williams, who is world renowned. Well,
you know yourself how good Michael May is from what he did to you last Saturday.
Speaking of bringing things up, I'm surprised you only brought this up now.
Yeah.
Do you want to go in more detail?
No. Well, why not? Why not?
All right.
So for people who don't know or who aren't aware, Dave had his forfeit last week, and he had to get 10 chops.
10 painful chops.
9 chops and a punch in the chest.
Well,
it turned out to be. It was. But yeah, we won't go into. But we did record it.
It's because Klong, when he stepped in, like he stepped in as if it was a punch instead of.
Yeah,
but that's
exactly.
It's a chop, if you ask me.
But the video is available on YouTube, and it is on our Facebook page too, and on our Twitter as well. Where you can see
I'm
Dave.
healed now.
I'm glad that you're healed, because I didn't want to keep you in too much pain. It was even hard for me to record it.
Really?
The sounds, and then just I felt bad for you, Dave. I did. I was thankful that I didn't have to do it myself.
Well, you know what? It feels like a Tommy Dreamer moment.
Yeah.
You know, remember when Tommy Dreamer took all those Singapore cane shots from the Sandman?
Yeah.
It feels like that in a way, where I've done it and I've survived, and I'm like,
what, you want 10 more? I can organise 10 more.
No. I'm never doing that voluntarily again. Fuck, screw that. But as I said to you, like, it happened. I'm survived.
Yeah.
Here I am. I'm still standing, and the recovery wasn't that bad even. Either although I have to say, and Jussie afterwards, he recommended that I put moisturizer on my chest. I put sun cream on, and my chest turned orange. It was from the bruise. Obviously, it was from the marks going purple and eventually orange. And I was like, I checked my hands just in case it wasn't fake tan. So
I was going to say, did you put tinted moisturizer on or something?
Well, I didn't know at the time, but no, it wasn't. Like, otherwise my hands would have gone bronze. But no, it was fine. You know what it felt like? Like you know this. Like you have several tattoos. It feels like when a tattoo is healing. It's very warm, but you feel maybe the particular bits that you can feel, especially if you touch them.
Little tingly bits,
like scabs, if you like.
Yeah.
No, not that I had scabs, but like I had like a few huge welts like in my chest afterwards. Those are the ones that were like particularly. Like,
you had a few that like blood was coming to the surface.
Yeah, that's it. Like that's what it was. No, I didn't scab or anything like that.
You had the perfect handprint in your top, like just below your shoulder.
I think that was Martin Steers because only him and Klong chopped me vertically.
Yeah.
So, and his was, I think, that side. So, unless someone did that,
Michael and Darrin's were the worst sounding.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Nathan Martin's was hard as well. Jussie's was hard as well. No, they were all horrible. That was such a. But listen. I get vindication, and forgive me for saying this, but I felt like it's karma in the way. Like, here's you saying, "I'm so glad I didn't have to take it," and here's you who couldn't walk for how many days after training?
3, 4. I could walk. It was just difficult.
You could barely walk.
It was difficult. Okay. I couldn't go down on my hunker. I had to think about going down on my hunker, like, you know, when you have to like hunker down and like grab something from the ground.
Yeah.
If you drop something on the floor, I had to think about actually doing that because I didn't think I'd come back up.
But there you go. But there we go. I've survived. Not more to be said about it, I suppose. We'll move on to the main event anyway of the show. Jordan Devlin taking on the returning Darren Carney, his first OTT show since returning from Canada. He's very Lance Storm like now in his approach as well. He had the pose. He had Lance Storm's t-shirts attached to his tights before removing them. He wears pink tights as well.
But he did that before he left.
Yeah, but it's ironic that he's coming from Calgary. You know what I mean? But it was a great.
He's in Toronto, not Calgary.
Lance Storm's gym is in Toronto.
I thought it was in Toronto. So
no, it's Calgary.
Is it Calgary?
It's definitely Calgary.
Toronto.
No, he's from Calgary, Lance Storm.
Is he?
Oh yeah.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I thought it was Toronto.
It was a very good match. What I liked about the match is that like it was incredibly even. Like it shows how much Darren Carney's improved since he's been in Canada. Like, it really has. Like that he's able to have such a quality match. And here's Jordan, who's in the top of his game right now. Like he was definitely gave Jordan a fantastic match. Like, you know, so it was Jordan who got the win, finishing off with the package pile driver, but was very competitive, very competitive. Yeah. So that, like, it goes to show like the vast improvement he's made. So as champion. Right. Now the most interesting part happened after the match, where the three guys, Gavin Fitz, Eddie Stone, and Russell Dumpster, I like to call them the Princes of the North, attacked Darren Carney at. Well, for the records, like, someone on Twitter called them the Nordy Shield, which I don't like.
The Nordy Shield. I kind of like that.
I prefer calling them Princes of the North, personally, or Dukes of the North, one of the two. And the
attack just Nordies.
What?
Why just call them the Nordies?
Nah,
the Nords.
The Nords.
The Nords.
Anyway, they attacked Carney after the match. LJ cleared Nathan Martin made the save straight away. Then Legit 100 came out, and as Fitz, Stone, and Dumpster walked away, there's a bit of a interesting stare down. Like, they were at ringside, and then the other two guys were there at ringside. So I'm like, oh, okay, what's happening here? Interesting developments. See what could happen there. So,
also should mention another interesting development. We didn't mention it in the news. I think we should here.
Go for it.
That the approval has been granted for plans to demolish the Tivoli Theatre, and replace it with a 5-story apartment and hotel complex. The owner of the theatre, Anthony Byrne, has been seeking permission for a while to demolish the Tivoli and build an apart hotel. It's called, with a gym, restaurant, bicycle hire shop as well. People have been trying to fight this for a while. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, it looks like it's a lost cause because the plans have been announced, and it looks like the Tivoli is going to be no more. But
it's sad.
But it is sad. But despite the lack of how can I say, the lack of really good venues in Dublin,
there's very little now.
They may have found one there in the arena.
Yeah,
it's called the arena, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what they're. I'm not sure that's what it's called, but it's certainly what they're advertising it as. Like in Slur, and it's in Slur Road. And to be fair, it's not that hard to get to. Like it's easily accessible by the Lewis. Like it's literally only outside. I was in Tala last week, getting the red line from town to there, and it's only 10 minutes Lewis, so it's actually not that bad at all. Like so. Like walking distance probably not the best idea, but taking the Lewis back and forth, it makes sense, and they're frequent enough. So, like it's not it's not inner city, but it's still well, we can't really judge really until we actually go inside and see it. But knowing how they've got on other venues, I'm sure they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
I've every reason to be optimistic about it, like, and they're not going down without a fight. They're still going to try. That's for sure. I mean,
exactly.
It's such a shame though that Tivoli is gone, and obviously I'll miss it. I mean, that's where both of us seen OTT for the first time, and where it started and everything like that. So it feels like a piece of history now is gone and all that. But it's time to move on. Like, no easy way of saying it.
Unfortunately, yeah, like you said, time waits for no man. So let's.
I'm going to put it by myself.
Let's accept the change, and let's see where OTT is going to end up.
Yeah, I can't see it. I can't see it getting any worse though as a result of it though.
Oh God, no!
No,
it won't.
It definitely won't. Like it won't affect by a venue change.
No, like, it won't. It will never be.
Exactly. So all power to him. Anyway, when we return, we will continue our results of the week, starting with WWE Raw right after this short break.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com. In the future, roving bands of comic book podcasts will savage the wasteland, once known as the Internet. One podcast, the Grawlix Podcast, may not be the biggest, may not be the funniest, may not be the most well-spoken. Wait, what was my point again? Oh yes, the Grawlix Podcast. Listen to it at grawlixpodcast.com. That's GRAWLIX podcast.com.
We're back here on 90.3 Near FM with the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides. Now let's continue on our results of the week with WWE Raw.
Welcome to Monday Night Raw!
Or Monday Night Brawn, pretty much, from the way this went about. It started when Braun arrived, telling everyone a story about how he's going to win the title at the Rumble before Kurt Angle with security came out, saying that his actions from the last week were unacceptable. He almost killed people and cost thousands of dollars of damage. Braun said he didn't care, essentially. He is just doing his job. He settled things, and Braun says Kurt said that they settle things in the ring. But Braun says he does what he wants, when he wants, and how he wants, and he'll rip into Suplex City or knock the door from hell down to win the Universal title. Angle then fired him, put him out to triple threats. Kurt left, and then Braun followed with security behind him, politely asking him to leave. Before he left, he rips into security in the back, basically destroying them, putting most of them through tables. Saying he wasn't finished and he isn't leaving until everyone gets these hands, which apparently is a t-shirt now.
It is a t-shirt now, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame he couldn't get his hands on Kevin Dunn. He was very close to doing it. When he went into the back, yeah. Kevin Dunn, did you not see him?
No.
Yeah, he was there. He ran past the camera like Braun nearly got him.
Oh, no. That would have been too bad. That would have been bad. Oh, is he in the production truck?
Yeah, he was in the production truck.
God.
Yeah.
I don't recognise him anymore.
Oh, you can recognise that horrible face anywhere. What? I'm not afraid. So what? That's...
No. I'm not.
Oh, because he's a squirrel. I thought you were trying to tell me to stop. Was it?
I'm sticking out my teeth when I did that.
Yeah. No. But yes,
I'm a horrible person.
This didn't go on as long as I thought it would. It went on for half the show.
Yeah.
And that was it. Just like, imagine if, obviously,
So you
he
expect
was
this-
then rehired later on in the night.
Right.
How bad would the Royal Rumble match have been if he was actually fired? He was actually taken out of that match.
How bad? Oh God, yeah, Kane and Brock.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. That's why probably people who were at the crowd are thinking it's bad enough that Braun is fired, but it's even worse that you're leaving out with this match at the Rumble.
But I didn't get the whole firing angle itself, because there's been much worse done recently to Braun himself, and people weren't fired for it.
Well,
Roman Reigns drove the back of an ambulance into a truck with Braun in it.
Yeah.
Nearly killed him.
Yeah.
Roman wasn't fired. The Miz Siraj and
Again,
Kane
that's
put him in at the back of a bin truck.
Yeah.
Try and kill him. They weren't fired.
Nope.
Braun pulls down a bit of scaffolding, and he's fired.
Must have been expensive scaffolding.
It must have been the most expensive scaffolding in the world.
Made of gold.
Made of gold.
Scaffolding.
But and even
gold
through,
scaffolding.
even through the years, they've done worse. Like, say, Rikishi running over Stone Cold Steve Austin. Wasn't fired.
Again, it's the way it was written. We can't really.
It's just poorly written. I just didn't think
It would make you're right. Considering there's been worse done in the past, why are you firing someone now?
Exactly.
And of all people, Braun.
Exactly. I know it's just like it's going to get him over. Obviously they're trying to angle Braun to be like the Stone Cold Steve Austin now.
Okay.
I think they are.
Well, certainly the badass anyway, who does what he wants, and that's
exactly.
You should do.
And he's pissing off authority as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's all that Austin was about. He was that guy that would...
And he's had his brush against authority, especially with Triple H.
Exactly. And that's some of the rumours that was going... Have you seen some of the rumours about that?
No.
That supposedly the reason why Stephanie rehired Braun and put him into the match wasn't only because she didn't want the Kane and Brock Lesnar match, because nobody wanted that.
Yeah,
but
partly because of that, but mostly
because of that. Mostly because there's a theory going around that she wants Braun to be in the match so Triple H can interfere and ruin Braun's chances, leading to a match between those two at WrestleMania.
That's not bad booking. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
But I thought it was penciled in for Angle and Triple H to be fighting at Mania.
Well, here's Angle now, who has maybe, or certainly Strowman would have maybe a problem with Angle now after firing him in the first place. So imagine they're not in cahoots with each other anymore. You got the idea they might have been around Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, well, maybe. Oh no, it's interesting now. Actually, think of it. Unless it's a triple threat,
or unless they're going to pull the trigger on Jason Jordan turning heel sooner than later. And they're going to have Jason Jordan against Angle at Mania. But
maybe. Jason Jordan's injured at the moment, actually.
No, he's not.
Apparently. Well, he has a slight injury, that's what I heard anyway.
He's still going to be taking part in the match.
He wasn't the house shows this week, that's all I know. So.
At Rumble, anyway, so. But that's supposedly the theory. Other than that, like, the only thing I kind of wish was that there was no security men there to break Michael Cole's fall, but other than that.
Well, too far. Don't let Michael Cole take that fall out of security. It's Michael, like in all seriousness, like it was they couldn't have done that better.
Did you like what I did?
Yes, I did.
On the Twitter, yeah. So this is how my life ends. Just the face on Michael Cole when he's getting lifted by Braun as well was fantastic.
Oh dear me, I thought I was bad taking chops. I'm just saying. Actually, no, I was bad, but you know, getting thrown up by a man.
You took it like a champ.
Thank you. Sheamus and Cesaro had a rematch with Titus O'Neil and Cruz and ended when Titus fell off the neutralizer. Cruz in for a high cross and standing moonsaults for 2. Sheamus made the save. Titus gets dumped and Jason Jordan then makes his way out, distracts Sheamus, allowing Cruz to roll him up for the win. So this is 2 wins in a row now they had over him. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Because here's Sheamus and Cesaro supposed to challenge for the tag titles. Yeah. In this case, it's a legitimate reason for him to get distracted, as opposed to last week.
True.
But is it killing their momentum as challengers?
Yes, a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them then still win the title.
That's the thing.
You know, that's just the way WWE booking is.
The thing is, though, imagine it would be a case now where, like, straight after the Rumble, it'll be Titus and Apollo saying, well, we beat them twice, give us a title shots. Oh, that's the worst action ever.
What the hell was that?
I know, it's a bad effort.
Shame on you, sir.
Thank you.
Shame on you for your bad accent.
Thank you.
Shame.
I'm not doing it again.
Good.
As we said, Braun Strowman destroyed Angle's off. He destroyed Angle's office first. He destroyed Kurt Hawkins' catering before taking the piece of cake. And then he was later on hired after Kurt Angle. Well, first of all, he went to the production truck. I don't know how I missed. Kevin Dunn.
Yeah.
He took he put over the production truck, not the production, the actual truck, not the actual production truck, the trailer, but just the truck.
Did you see like the brain fart that Angle had when he was told that Braun is on his way to his production truck?
What?
So one of the refs came up to him and says, "So, Braun, he's running amok, and I've just found out he's on his way to the production truck." Then I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, like nearly 5 seconds in, and Angle's like, "Oh my god, that truck's worth like $14 million, blah blah blah, we gotta go." There was just like silence
So
for like four seconds while he had to think of a number in his head of how much it actually costs.
oh my god, it's worth 14 million.
Oh my god, that thing costs $14.
Well, maybe he wasn't given the actual figure of it at the first place.
Probably forgot the figure.
No, he was probably, yeah, but there's that. But I'd like to think it took him a while to think. Okay, it costs this much to rent. It costs this much to put the paint on it. It costs this much to put all the production in it. Oh my god, it costs 14 million.
I don't know.
Or he's not good at maths. One of the two.
I don't know, but it's kind of like I'm waiting for someone to make a video where, you know, the
just make it yourself.
The startup music from Windows.
From Windows.
The Windows startup music, you know, when you used to turn on the Windows and it was like the Windows music.
Yeah. Oh yes.
It would just be that in between when he's just trying to. Oh my god, that's worth $14 million.
That's very good. As I said, then he heads to the arena, scared commentary, grabbed Michael Cole. Then Angle hired him after Stephanie said he was rehired to Kurt, but he still threw Michael Cole off the stage onto security.
Yep.
And Tom Phillips took his place. Where was I? Cedric Alexander took on Tony Nese. Ended with Alexander laying to kicks, slingshots. A flatliner gets 2. Springboard clothesline followed. Alexander covers for 2. Nese fights off the lumbar check. Gets Cradle for 2. He follows with knees. Alexander cuts him off. Lumbar checks, finishes it. So it continues Alexander's never-ending run for the Cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
Because it seems never-ending at this stage. It feels so long, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, well, they're definitely facing each other at the Rumble, so hopefully it'll be all worth in the end.
You can only hope, can't we?
Do you think Enzo will retain?
Probably.
Please don't say yes.
Probably, yeah.
Alexander's too good of a challenger.
Yeah, but they seem to like putting it on Enzo. I don't know why.
Well, to be fair,
where does this Nia Jax angle go if he's not the champ?
Does he have to be champ, though?
Well, where does it go if he is? Like, I don't know what's going on with it.
It's kind of a strange situation with 205 in general.
Yeah.
God bless him. I mean, like, the thing is, Cedric Alexander, like, he seems like one of these guys who's fighting more than anybody to make it as good as it possibly can. I'm not saying Enzo isn't doing that. It's just like, you hear all these reports about him behind the scenes and stuff like that. I'm not saying he's not carrying his weight as champion. He's a good champion in a certain way, like, you know, from his character. But, you know, like make it what, like, Alexander is trying to make it is building on the attraction which he always was, or certainly from the Cruiserweight Classic last year, or not last year, 2 years ago. This stage now, so it's good. It's what they're trying to do, like, and having him as champion just makes more sense in my opinion.
Okay,
that's me now.
I know, but I don't. We'll see. I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, I think they're just doing it for the sake of it at this stage.
Maybe.
Like, they're gone on their first tour now, and I'd really like to see what the ticket sales were, because I don't think they were great. I wouldn't imagine.
I just hope, because you see the work, you see the work that they're actually trying to put into it, and it actually is good. They're actually having good matches. It's just the way they've been booked and the way they're being presented isn't working. Yeah. So like, it feels like they're fighting a dying battle. Like, so, and I hate to say it, but like there's so much uncertainty of it. I just hope they do something about it and fast. Like, but again, that's being hopeful. Nia Jax took on Asuka. It ended when Jax climbed on the stairs, and Asuka tripped, and her leg was trapped in between the steel stairs. Actually, Jax beat the count, but couldn't stand up, and the refs stopped the match. Trainers and all that, and refs tried to check on Jax afterwards. After the match, Alexa Bliss apologized to Jax for getting her into the mess. Enzo arrived, and Bliss tried to tell him to leave, but Jack said to Enzo can take over. So that was that. The Revival made their first appearance in a while, and which drew a bit of controversy as well, as we discovered later on. They took on Jimmy and Johnny Bootentights, apparently they're called.
One of them, I think, is Sasha's husband or something like that, isn't it?
Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Didn't know that. And it was what it was. It was just an enhancement match.
It was a squash.
It was an enhancement match essentially for them, Shatter Machine and so on. So they're back to nice to see him. But I think the thing that drew more than anything was afterwards. They said post match they claim to be tag team excellence and students of the game. They aren't concerned with video games, Instagram, or any of that stuff. They're concerned with winning matches and mastering holds. They're not sports entertainers, they're professional wrestlers, and they're not a creation of the WWE boardroom. And they will not change, and next week they will prove this to the universe. So things like they're challenging legends next week for the Raw.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get squashed.
It's not only that. I think the reaction from it was not received well from Vince backstage.
No?
From what I've seen, the term professional wrestling is a barred term in WWE. You know they'd say it.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah, you can't say you're a professional wrestler. That's why they advertise themselves so much as being a sports entertainer and stuff like that. And I think someone tweeted into either Scott Dawson or Dash Wilder saying they're going to be in trouble for saying that. And I think they tweeted saying already are. It was later deleted apparently, but seems like they're getting some heat from Vince now because of that.
That's mental. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but they're being real about it, and they're creating this controversial situation, which they should do. Because they're not getting anywhere at the moment.
Well, that's the thing. They need to get into people's mindset, because they're not. And like I said, like I for one, they are going to for sure be the team. And it happened on Raw. It happens anytime there's these big shows or these big anniversary shows where a team gets destroyed by a load of legends. It gives them their moment. This is going to be the moment now. You
know the worst thing about that, though? If you're right about that, the worst thing about that is that the last time this happened on the big anniversary show, you know what the tag team was that got beat up by all these legends? The Ascension.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
I don't think so.
It was.
Are you sure?
Very sure.
I thought it was Heath Ledger. Heath Slater, sorry.
Well, that was taking all the individual ledgers, all the individual legends one-on-one.
Yeah.
But I think the last time a tag team was involved, it was the Ascension.
Yeah. Can we talk about that, by the way?
Yeah.
The whole... have you seen the amount of people announced for this?
For what?
Show next week. The amount of people...
Oh, God. It's
like, I never thought I'd say this, but I think 3 hours isn't long enough.
It's not. They're not doing 3 hours. This is a 5-hour show next week. No,
it's not.
It is.
No, it's not 5 hours.
It's 5. It's not 3. That's for sure. It's at least 3 hours.
How is it 5 hours? I know they're doing a 1 hour pre-show.
That's probably. It probably.
But they're not doing a 4 hour main show. They would have said that. They would have been announcing it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
I've heard somewhere that it's 5 hours.
No way.
Just check it. Check it right there.
No.
I'm probably wrong.
No, 3 hours. 3 hours for sure, man. That's not. They would have been announcing for weeks and weeks, saying special 4 hour show and stuff like that.
Let's just check to be sure right now.
All right, go ahead.
All right, let's check it now. Google so on and so forth. It doesn't actually. I'm trying to find it. It's actually not hard to. It doesn't actually say a particular time.
It would though.
It would. That's the thing.
It would if it was. It's only 3 hours, man.
We'll be interested to see what they do with all those. You think? Well, it's there. I can't see it being 3 hours. Anyway, maybe 4, including the pre-show. They're treating it like a pay-per-view essentially.
Yeah.
I can't find a particular. I'm not gonna find one there. In the meantime, we'll just talk. We'll continue on anyway. Elias sang a song introducing.
Elias sang a song. Oh.
Did his usual thing, you know yourself.
Yeah.
Wishing Michael Cole well, but then sang the Miz and Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas into the ring. Miz discussed his return last week. Said he was given welcome back chance. And the spark that ignites, and he's the spark that ignites Raw every week, as opposed to John Cena or Brock Lesnar. And Kurt Angle knows this and gave him his IC title match for next week. And along with that, laying out lanes felt awesome, and that's why USA Network gave him and Maurice their own TV show. So it's basically a repeat of what he said last week, but it's still to the point, like, you know. Yeah. So Reigns took on the Miz Taraj in a handicap match, and ended when Reigns run wild on both of them, slamming them together. The Miz distracted Reigns, but Reigns dumped Dallas and Superman punched Axel. Reigns is to the floor and Superman punched Dallas as Miz pushed him into it. Reigns rolled Miz to the ring. He runs and then Axel rolls up Reigns for 2. The spear finishes Axel. Basically,
Easy does it.
Yeah. Sasha Banks took on Sonya Deville 1-on-1. Ended with Banks to her feet. Escapes, falls with strikes. Head scissors and drop kicks follows, and then the charging knees. Banks looks to fly off the ropes, but jumps into a kick, and Deville covers for the win. So a huge win for Deville. So it's getting them over, as I said. And Paige was at ringside with Randy Rose for this match, but it's pushing like the Absolution, even with Paige injured, like, you know. And Sonya Deville, who is probably the best wrestler of herself and Rose, like, is getting a good push. So who knows, like, down the line, regardless of what happens at the Rumble, she looks like she'll be involved in the title picture with a win like that, or certainly.
I wouldn't say a win like that will put her in the title picture.
It certainly
it's a long way to go.
It certainly puts her in discussion.
The only one in the title picture at the moment is Asuka.
That's it. Of course, yeah. Matt Hardy took on Heath Slater. It was basically a squash match. Like, wasn't much more to it. Like,
yeah,
so
they're building to this Matt and Bray Wyatt match. I don't know when they're going to do it, but it looks like it's going to happen at some stage. Like,
is it advertised for the Rumble? Yeah.
Nope.
Should be.
Might see something advertised this week.
Maybe. And the main event was Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. And it's when Balor hits a drop kick, heads up top, but Rollins runs up, hits the superplex and rolls through, doing the deal for the Falcon Arrow for 2. Rollins back on top and hit the high fly flow, eats knees, and Balor rolls it up for 2. Sheamus and Cesaro arrive. They brought with Jordan, the Good Brothers. Balor wipes him out with his dive, back in, and he hits the insecurity and double slam, misses as Rollins moved. Jordan trips up Balor. Rollins goes old school then with his blackouts for the win.
It looked pretty bad. You see the slow-mo of it? There's rumours that it was botched.
Oh, really?
And Balor was actually hurt from it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, either that or he sold it very well.
Yeah, I'd like to think he sold it well.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna go to that conclusion.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Like, here's something we're going to bring up though. Do you think the WWE are becoming a bit less strict when it comes to like their bad moves?
Looks as though they are.
Yeah, like
there's rumours that they were going to bring back the pile driver and everything, allow people to use it again.
Who used the pile driver recently? John Cena used a pile driver recently.
Was it recently? Was it?
What match was it against? Did you use a pile driver against AJ?
No, I don't think so.
Or against even Roman?
Maybe, I don't know. I know, like basically Tyler Bates' finisher is basically a pile driver.
Tyler Bates?
Yeah.
That's a powerbomb. That's different. No, not really.
It's because it's kind of like you've got the head between the legs.
Then the pedigree would be the same thing then, essentially.
Yeah, well, it's not the top of the head.
It's a tiger bomb though. That's not a pile driver.
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
I don't know. Like, but either way, like it's better. I think like it's probably in response. You could argue that it's in response to New Japan with all their fancy moves. So? You could argue that.
Okay, I wouldn't, but all right. I think it's just Vince seeing sense that like these guys can't perform these wrestling moves. Don't punish the future for the past mistakes, sort of thing.
I know, but it's ironic. It's ironic as well. That's all. Like I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's ironic. That's all. So there we go. Anyway, let's move on to SmackDown.
On to the Rock Show, to the premiere show, SmackDown.
SmackDown in general was just very short. It felt short, but that's because of a response of everything else that was going on that day. Like, so
yeah,
it was like this was one of 3 shows like the WWE did. So
SmackDown
2 shows in the match, I should say.
2 weeks in a row now. I felt like SmackDown has been letting itself down.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, essentially the whole card was over the US title. The tournament was settled in this case, which I liked.
I found weird.
In what way?
For the sense that they settled the title now. Why did they do that? Like, it had the perfect timeline to go up to Rumble. Like, it had one semi-final this week, the next semi-final the week after.
Maybe.
And then the final would be on Rumble. I still think because Dolph Ziggler's going to come back next week.
That's exactly why I think they did it then.
Yeah.
Because Dolph Ziggler's going to be involved.
Yeah.
And probably will take on Rude now in Rumble, which actually I wouldn't mind seeing.
Yeah.
But this whole thing...
Well, we've seen already, and the matches aren't great.
Oh, in general?
Yeah, they've seen, like, wasn't it?
Well, Jinder Mahal took on Xavier Woods, for example. That wasn't
No,
bad.
I'm talking about the...
Oh, the way it's booked, I mean.
No, the... God, why can't I think of these at the moment? The Dolph and Bobby Roode match wasn't great when we first saw it.
That was then, this is now.
Oh, okay. If you want to see it that way, that's fine.
It could be. Well, what I'm saying is, like, you know, at least in this case, it has a good story gone into it. So, like, if it has a good story, then I'm very optimistic about the match.
Sure.
It was more of a rivalry for the sake of an entrance last time, which it can be a story in itself. I mean, we said ourselves before, sometimes the weirdest story can make a great match. Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black last year over, Say My Name, it ended up being a great match.
Yeah.
It depends who the wrestler is in times, but, like, you know, maybe it takes a certain storyline for a certain performer. And in this case, it's over the US title. No, it's mine. I won it. I won it back. Let's go at the Rumble.
Okay.
That's the type of match that can spur both guys on, like, you know.
Well,
That's the way I see it now. I don't know about yourself, but
yeah,
I'm just trying to see the positives out of it. That's all. But anyway,
look at you being the optimist.
yeah, I was grumpy a while ago. Now I'm being optimistic. It comes full circle now.
Good.
Anyway, Jinder Mahal took on Xavier Woods in the first semi-final match. It ended when the New Day chased off the Sings, who were trying to interfere. The Woods hit a belly to back suplex, hit for the top, and missed his rope walk elbow drop. Mahal then sends Woods to the rope's throat first, and then the Colossus to finish it off. So, you know, it was what it was. Technically, it was a good match. It was technically sound. Can't complain whatsoever. I thought for a split second I would have loved Woods to win it overall, and the way he was being booked, everything that could have made sense.
Yeah,
there you go.
No, it wasn't.
AJ Styles was interviewed in the backstage, talking about the handicap match, calling Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens Cammy, as a joint nickname, and says he will end the Yap movement at the Rumble. This ain't the Cammy show, it's the house that AJ Styles built.
Yeah.
The second semi-final match, Bobby Roode and Mojo Rawley, ended when Rawley countered the DDT and slammed Roode into the mat gut first, covering for two. Rawley became frustrated and worked over Roode in the corner, went for the KO shot. Roode countered into the spine buster and then hit his glorious DDT. After the match, the Sings arrived and attacked Bobby Roode. Mahal then promised to end Roode and win the US title. Roode grabbed the mic and said, "We can do the finals tonight." Mahal refused, but then Daniel Bryan arrived, booking the final match for tonight, or on that night.
Yay.
Charlotte Flair, Naomi and Becky Lynch took on all three members of the Riot Squad. It ended when Naomi ran wild, laying in speedball kicks, and then into Gary. The high cross gets two as it breaks down. Ruby then cheap shots Naomi and allows Liv to pick up the win. It was okay. It was alright, but, like, again, it probably is similar repeating booking to the Raw, as you said, or just a relic anyway.
These guys, like, I put the question out there on Twitter during the week, just with the Riot Squad and stuff. Like, what have they done since coming here? Like, they haven't there's no real storyline behind them. These matches seem meaningless.
Well, no, I'm on the fence with that. I mean, they're there obviously to fill numbers for the Rumble,
Of course.
and they're there almost as a female Shield, similar to Absolution. You could say, well, that's how they're probably being booked. Maybe they're not having the impact that Absolution are having on Raw, and
I think the only reason why Absolution are having a bigger impact on Raw is because Paige is there.
yes,
If Paige
probably.
had gone to SmackDown, we'd be saying the Raw one is poor and the SmackDown one is good.
So there's someone who's who has that impact straight away, has that star power straight away, compared to three people coming in from NXT in Riot, Logan and Liv Morgan, but more importantly of all, as we said a few weeks ago, they're two very similar groups, so there's going to be comparisons regardless. Maybe it's not the best thing to do. I don't know.
Like, they had no other choice.
Maybe.
They had to get the numbers up and they had to establish some girls in before they did it.
Yeah.
And this is what they've done. Like, they put a few meaningless matches. I just want to see now what is going to happen when it comes to after the Rumble. Are they going to actually put a decent story behind them? Like, we haven't heard anything about them since they came up. if you know what I mean. We don't know much about them. They haven't talked about themselves much at all. They haven't done anything.
Well, they must have a plan. They have to, because
I can only hope so.
They have merchandise.
I've been disappointed before with WWE, so
they have merchandise, and usually if they have merchandise, they must have a plan with them. At least that's what I like to think, anyway. Let's put it this way: does Gur Hawkins have a t-shirt?
He does.
Oh, he does. Okay, I spoke too soon then.
Yeah.
The Usos were interviewed about their 2 out of 3 falls match at the Rumble. They mocked Gable and Benjamin and planned to retain at the Rumble, but Benjamin and Gable attacked them, laying out their champions, saying that they know exactly who they are, the former champions. Rusev Day then challenged the Fashion Police for a match next week, but the Fashion Police said Rude will face the Ascension instead. And then the final between Bobby Roode and Jinder Mahal for the US title. The Stings were barred at ringside. First, early in the match. It ended then when they work in the corner. Rude hits a knee clothesline, then hits a blockbuster for 2. Mahal fights off the DT and cradles Rude for 2. They work into a double down. Rude then catches Mahal with a spinebuster. Mahal looks for the Colossus, but Rude counters into the DT and wins the match. In a way, it was a good match. I thought it was a good match. The thing is, though, it shows Mahal in the way, even though they're trying to push him even though as a mid-carder, you can't take away that even though he's a very good seller, that's one of his strengths, I think. His offense is still very slow, we'll say. That would be the best word I could say.
Yes, slow would probably be the best word we could think of right now.
Or could have more life, maybe.
Yeah, he just... He paces a match as if he's been in a 20-minute war already, and they're both tired.
Yeah, well, in this case, that's true.
In this case, it was true. Maybe the match was a lot more over because of that. But just any other matches, like it could similar to the Xavier Woods match. It's so slow. But the thing that saved that match was the fact that there was outside interference.
Yeah.
That took your eye off it for a while. So look, yeah, like you said, he's just got to quicken it up a little bit. Maybe less time lifting weights, more time doing cardio.
Well, that's the thing. If he has the attitude of where he is the most dedicated, in the gym and in his diets, maybe it could be a case where he picks up his. I'm not saying he's
not saying that he needs it. He obviously looks great.
But it's something. Yeah, exactly. But something now it's time to develop his skill. Or certainly if it's great that you look like the best type of performer. You're, image wise, you're doing the right things. But is what it is though. And I probably got. And I always like to believe, especially when he has rivalry with AJ Styles, that it was always two of them trying to wrestle. I always would have liked to believe that, but it kind of proves me wrong now.
No, it wasn't. It was AJ.
It was AJ pulling it. Yeah,
it was
pretty much.
AJ being the fantastic wrestler and fantastic professional that he is, helping, basically pulling Jinder up to his level as much as he could. So.
Anyway, let's quickly move on now to we have 205 first. We'll talk about Gran Metalik and AJ and TJP had a rematch from last week. Ended when TJP missed a drop kick. Metalik hit a high crossbody from the ropes. Super kick followed, sent the bulldog on the drop kick. The rope walk elbow drop connected, and then but he stayed in the match, kicking out for 2. TJP countered the Metalik driver, but Metalik countered into the gutbuster, into a cradle, and then TJP lost again and went to a huge temper tantrum afterwards when trying to be interviewed afterwards. Jack Gallagher now did a fantastic promo where he said that he's been tortured as he tries to avenge Brian Kendrick, but now he's the man with the plan now to find Atami's weaknesses, and he will attack it. So and he will regret coming to 205 for what he's done. So I like it. I like this. It shows now why he can do it on the heel by himself now, which I think would be good for him. What else? In a handicap match, 3-on-1 handicap match, Goldust took on Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, and Arya Daivari. Ended when the snap slam gets 2 and Daivari makes a save. Nese looks for a dive and accidentally takes out Daivari. Alexander takes out Enzo, and then Goldust finishes Gulak with the final cuts. What do you think of Goldust put away in 205? Do you think it adds to it, or it is what it is?
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I can say. Is what it is.
Anyway, none of us actually seen the mixed match challenge match, have you? I haven't seen it now, but we can tell you what happened anyway. It was with Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Beth Phoenix was in commentary. You can find us on Facebook Watch, but it was the first match was between Finn Balor and Sasha Banks against Shinsuke Nakamura and Natalya. It ended when Nakamura hit a goat buster, I think it's called, sets, and Balor counters with the Kinshasa with a sling blade. Shotgun knees follow, Balor on top, and Natalya hits him. Then Nakamura follows with a Kinshasa, and Banks makes the save. She and Natalya brawls to the floor. Nakamura charges and gets sent to the post. Banks tags in and attacks Natalya on the floor. Back in, and Banks and Balor too sweet and send Nakamura to the floor. Banks statement on Natalya, and she taps out. So apparently it was a very good match. And we also now have a schedule now of what the rest of the tournament is going to be like. It's going to be just like one match essentially every week by the looks of things.
Yeah.
It's going to be another 11 weeks now. So the match next week will be The Miz and Asuka against Big E and Carmella. So it should be interesting, that one. Now 205, we'll just get through that now. Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss took on Heavy Machinery and ended with Otis hitting a Desperation Bay, the back suplex, and tagged Tucker in. I think Otis did like this. He does this. Have you seen Otis doing the worm, by the way?
Yeah.
He did the worm with an elbow drop in this match. It was so good. He runs wild, and Moss and Sabatelli hitting the drop kick. The corner flash splash follows, and then hit a hip toss. Moss then gets a cradle with the ropes to pick up the win. So it kind of continues to rival. There's a bit of rival between them two. Like they're two up and coming tag teams, so it makes sense for me. What's this? Roderick Strong took on a Fabian Ochner. And when Ochner counters the angle slam and runs into a backbreaker, Roddy covers for two. Ochner fights and follows with uppercuts, and then Ochner hits a backbreaker. He springboards in and right into another backbreaker, locks in the strongholds for the submission win for Roddy. Like, Fabian Ochner actually is he's like a really good mid-carder jobber, if that makes sense, where he gives competition to everyone, so he's in a good position in that sense. Like, so only a matter of time before he gets the push, if you like. After the match is very interesting because Roderick Strong said there is a force that he wants to destroy, and he calls out Lars Sullivan. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
We got a video package from TM61, and we haven't heard from them for at least a year, I think, or something like that, hasn't it? A very long time. And they're talking about how they've been out of action for a year. They talked about how Harley Race helped them get their tryouts, and they weren't ready when they first got it, and they headed to Japan first. And so it's a good profile. Apparently they'll be back. The second part of this video package will be next week. So it's a similar thing what they did with Roderick Strong when they're talking about his backstory. So it looks like they'll have a return from him soon.
I hope it builds them up for a return to the tag team division, because
they're a fantastic team.
They're a fantastic team, and will help build it even more.
Absolutely. Lacey Evans took on Aaliyah one-on-one. Ended when Aaliyah fired back with forearms, uppercuts, and then hits a clothesline off the second rope. Northern Light Suplex gets two. Evans hits a jawbreaker. Aaliyah charges and hits a huge right hand, knocking her out cold for Evans to win by pinfall. But after the match is where it gets interesting. Evans calls out the rest of the women's division, saying it's time for a proper and powerful women clean house, and was talking trash about Nikki Cross, Ember Moon, and Kairi Sane before Shayna Baszler arrived, and Evans legged it straight away. But then Baszler attacked Aaliyah by choking her out center of the ring. Ember Moon came out, saved her. Moon then said if Baszler wants to bully someone, try it on her. Moon said if he wants to fight now, but Baszler said she'll do it for the title. Moon says team at time and place, and she said take over Philly and bring the title. Crowd are into it. It looks like and Miguel then sets up the match later on. So that's another match for Takeover Philadelphia. That's a great match, actually. Look forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how ring ready Shayna Baszler is, though. She had obviously the matches in the tournament. She hasn't wrestled since then, I don't think.
I don't think so. No.
So.
But I think she has indie experience as well, so I think she'll be alright.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a good match.
I hope so. Yeah.
A bit of a promo then involving Johnny Gargano, Zelina Vega, and to a degree Velvet Team Dream. He didn't appear, but he was mentioned. Where Vega arrived and said, this is when after Regal announced the match between Moon and Baszler, that Gargano has no chance to take over. Velvet Dream made a good point that he deserves a shot more than Gargano, and he should put the title shot on the line. Regal would advise against that, so Vega runs Gargano down, calling him a sham. Then Gargano hits the ring almost in huge anger, saying that he heard what Vega said and he knows people are saying about him, and they doubt him, and he has the ability to be Almas, but he says he is not broken, he's not a loser, he's not a fluke, this is opportunity, no one will stop him. He's really fired up in this, and eventually he puts his title shot on the line against Velveteen Dream. I think it's next week, and it says go on, he'll be NXT champion. And the main event then, the Offers of Pain took on the Street Profits. The winner will challenge the Undisputed Era at Philadelphia. And then it's when the Profits hit a Doomsday Dropkick Spinebuster combo for near fall. Ellering ends for the call, and AOP hit their Super Collider, and then the last chapter for a pretty decisive win, actually. Like, it showed the dominance of the AOP, really them coming back, like, so. But but Street Profits are very over as well.
Yeah.
So they'll be, like, you know, even though they lost, like, they'll easily be back. But they'll
be
back
fine.
up some. Yeah, they'll be fine. Exactly. So, should be interesting. Now let's continue on our show now with our previews of the week.
Why, look at what we have here, folks!
So first of all, we're going to talk about Low Blows Wrestling Parties, who are back on January 28th for their Buskers in the Ball, where they'll be showing this year's WWE Royal Rumble. To tell us more about it, now joining us on the line from Low Blows Wrestling Parties, Rick Nash. Rick, thanks for joining us once again here on the Kickouts.
Dave, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it. So first of all, well, obviously you guys now are back now for the Royal Rumble, and this, you guys have said it yourselves, this is obviously one of your bigger parties now where you have every year. The Royal Rumble seems to be the biggest party for you guys.
Yeah, it's taken over the past few years as the most popular night, which isn't surprising. I remember the first night we ever did a party in Captain America's about 6 years ago now, and I remember like looking around the room and just thinking, geez, could you imagine a Royal Rumble match with like this atmosphere? And it's pretty much panned out that way. It's absolutely class, always insane. And there's a real like, so different parties have different vibes. SummerSlam is real like kind of loose and laid back, and it's a beach party. Survivor Series is like kind of chilled and intimate. WrestleMania is kind of nice and like it's everyone kind of getting like kind of fuzzy and warm. Royal Rumble, insanity. That's the one team. Every single year, it's absolutely crazy. People are buzzing for the Rumble match. They're absolutely laying into the point, and they're just having a laugh. They're just willing to like do things that they wouldn't be any other time, like get up, sing karaoke, chant, all the craziness at the Royal Rumble. And this year we've got a hell of a night lined up, so I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to as well. One of the things I think that most people are looking forward to, obviously aside from the Rumble itself, is that the Low Blows band will be back, and it's my understanding you guys are doing a more indie-based setup for this gig.
Yeah, man, we're going full indie, like we're going back to our roots. Yeah, we're being total hipsters now for this one. So what's going on is the logic is. There's every year for the Rumble, our tradition is WWE karaoke. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
But like that's where people get up and sing WWE songs. We're like, we don't want to like kind of step on that. So why don't we do like, there's loads of class songs that are on the independent scene, like in the likes of OTT. I'm sure all your listeners would be familiar with.
Absolutely.
New Japan Pro Wrestling, Progress, Ring of Honor. Like there's loads of class theme songs that like. We'd all love to perform. We're all fans of them individually, like so. We decided to put together a set of indie darlings and Rumble royalty. So there will be some WWE songs in there, like for people who might know the independent scene. There will be songs you recognise. But even if you don't know the independent scene, like it's pretty much just real popular songs. Like there are songs that like. I was turning around to my mum and dad beforehand, and they're really interested in the band, but they don't know about wrestling and don't really like. They just kind of leave me to it with all this stuff, and I'm like, guys, you'd actually enjoy this set. It's just like you know half the songs. It's like it's going to be an absolutely class. Like it's my favorite set. I say that every time, but I mean it for this. This one, it's just a cool set because there's so many like awesome songs, and we put together some nice little treats and surprises for the night.
Absolutely. Well, as you said, like it's great that you like every set gets better and better for you guys. Like so, it's definitely like considering the sets you guys have had before, like from certain last year's WrestleMania, like and it's only gotten better. Like it should be an amazing one for this one. So I'm personally looking forward to that. And as you mentioned yourself, like you're going to be having your WWE karaoke night, which seems to be a tradition for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that's what we do every year at the Rumble, and now we're kind of like raising the stakes. So last year, for the first time ever, when we were preparing in the Low Blows band before our first gig. We had them on as like kind of judges. It was just a random kind of last minute idea. And then that worked so well. People loved that aspect of it, where it was kind of like the X Factor, where they kind of like comment on everyone singing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've kept the judges' idea. It worked so well, and we've kind of like broadened it out to be like random, like, you know, wrestling personalities in Ireland, and even pro wrestlers now. So we have our old Simon Cowell, who is also a part of the Low Blows band. Aaron Poole, not very popular with people because he's honest in his assessment of people's abilities. Like, he's very, like, he's a purist. Like, so, like I said, Simon Cowell. But we also have YouTube star and also new star of Low Blows, by the way, Corporate Keane. He's a recent signing to Low Blows. We'll also have the face of Irish wrestling, Justy, is going to be on stage judging everyone who sings. And last but not least, the one I'm particularly excited about, one of my favourite characters in Irish wrestling over the past few years. He hasn't been around for a while. He's making a comeback for one night only at the Royal Rumble. Worky from the Lads in the Flat.
Awesome.
I have no idea what he's going to be like as a judge. I just need to see it.
Absolutely. Well, from my understanding, I heard there's a bit of a Twitter war going on between the judges at the moment, but Justy and Aaron Poole. Like, what's going on there? Like, is Aaron like just talking too much, or what's going on?
It's getting a bit intense, yeah. Like, it started a few months ago where, like, when Justy first signed for Low Blows, and Aaron just started, like, making smart comments as he's wont to do.
Oh, this extended a while, did it? This has been going on for a while.
This has been going on for months now.
Really?
It just kind of, like, dies down, and then every now and then. But then when we put them together again as judges, it just kicked off again. So Aaron said something like, he turned around and he said, "I am the draw," which is like shot at that's one of Justy's catchphrases. And Justy just destroyed him.
Yeah.
It was kind of mean, like, at one stage, but don't come at Justy unless you've got your A game.
Exactly.
Aaron came back and at him, and Justy just turned around, and we released the video last night. Justy promised to fish hook Aaron at the Royal Rumble party. Now, having said that, our host of the karaoke night, who's a regular at the parties, everyone knows Jerry Darkside, everyone loves Jerry. He has declared today that there's going to be no fish hooks during the karaoke contest. So I don't know how this is going to pan out. He's our host, so, like, even though I run the parties, like, I stand by my staff. So if he's made that decision that's for the best, I stand by him. I kind of want to see it anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But Justy's promised the fish hook. Aaron is now kind of laughing at the fact that he seems to be safe for now. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
I know what I want to happen, but I also got to stand beside Jerry. If Jerry thinks it's for the best, it's for the best.
Well, we'll see what happens either way. As for the Rumble match itself, and even NXT Philadelphia, you'll be showing that as part of your pre-match entertainment. What are your expectations going into both events, in particular the Raw Rumble, especially with the new Women's Raw Rumble this year?
Yeah, I'm just, like, the thing I get excited about is the surprise entrance. And there's a lot of talk about, like, Ronda Rousey. There's a lot of talk about, like, this, like, who knows with the women? Like, I like, you want to see Trish, you want to see Lita back, you want to see, like, all the usual heads. I think there's like 12 spots for surprises in there. So, like, I can't wait. That's going to be a lot of fun in itself. The men's one, yeah, like, there's even a bit of, like, momentum for Daniel Bryan going today on Twitter by the looks of things. So
we reported in our show actually that he's third favourites to win the Rumble. Actually, did you hear about that?
Yeah. So it's an interesting one. I don't know. I would love it, but it just seems like we're setting ourselves up. Like that year, we all wanted him in the Rumble, and he wasn't in the Rumble. It seems like we're setting ourselves up for one of them.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely love it. Could you imagine in Buskers if Daniel Bryan comes out?
Yeah, we're saying that.
It'd be mental. Like, it'd be absolutely crazy. I would love it. I just don't want to get my hopes up on that. NXT, I'm just looking forward to watching it, as always. I just kind of sit back and let the show wash over me. In terms of predictions, I think Tommaso Ciampa, when he first got injured, wasn't it due back around the Rumble? So Johnny Gargano in the main event, you know, 2+2. I think we can figure out what's going to happen there. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe Gargano will win, but I think we can kind of guess what's happening there.
It's leading to something.
But, yeah, I'm looking forward to all of it. I'm just going to sit back and watch it. It's the Rumble, man. It's just like, let's just sit back and enjoy this. The one night in a year with WWE as well, like, they're probably not going to let you down. Like, you're going to be entertained like throughout the night.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't, like, we might not always like the winner with the Rumble, but the match usually hits one way or another. If not like at home, then at least with the atmosphere, with a few pints and some chicken wings and stuff like that, it usually gets the job done.
Absolutely. So there's plenty to look forward to, like, with everything going on, especially with the matches, because you're right, it's one of these ones where you're like, let's just enjoy the match regardless of who wins, like, so it makes a lot more sense in that. So you can catch the WWE Raw Rumble at Buskers in the Ball, Lobos Wrestling Party, back on the 28th of January. Tickets are still available on eventbrite.ie. Rick, it's a pleasure having you on as always. So all the best and more organising the party and the Lobos band, and we'll hope to have you on again soon.
Yeah, likewise, man. Thanks for having me. Always appreciate it.
No worries. And that was Rick Nash, who we spoke to from Lobos Wrestling Parties about the Raw Rumble they're doing in Buskers in the Ball. Look forward to that. Like, a lot to look forward to there, isn't it?
Yeah, sounds class.
Indeed, yeah. So we have a lot of previews just to mention very quickly now. So happening tomorrow up in the Crumlin Road Gall in Belfast, Uprising Wrestling is back. Tickets are still available on eventbrite.co.uk. Matches announced so far: Curtis Murray to take on Chris Ridgewell. Rich Way, I keep getting that wrong. Eddie Stone to take on Scotty Davis. Alexander Dean to take on Brian Corr. Amy Alonzi to take on Debbie Cattell. Gavin Fitz, Gunther Isaac and Will Baston to take on the team of Angel Cruz and Team P. Rick. Kingston North and Stephen Cavell are also set to appear on that. Now, next week, Five Factory Pro Wrestling are coming back. Or sorry, in 2 weeks, I should say. Pro Wrestling Five Factory are back for episode 3, Dive Hard, Dive with a Vengeance, happening on February 2nd in the Sean O'Casey Community Centre in East Wall in Dublin. Tickets are available on eventbrite.ie. Matches announced so far include Nathan Martin to take on Justy, a match only announced yesterday. LJ Cleary and the Cleary Cartel to take on the Super Nintendo and a mystery partner. Should be interesting there.
Very interesting.
Darren Carney to take on Alexander Dean. Dmitry Kakovich, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, to take on Michael May. Krakovich, excuse me. Phil Boyd to take on the returning Jay Money. That should be an interesting match.
Yep.
And Jordan Devlin to defend his title in a rematch from the show in the Hangar before Christmas against Sammy D for the Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship. Now, OTT, their weekend starts off in February 3rd in 2 weeks, this time 2 weeks, in the arena, their new venue in the arena in Slur Road in Dublin. Tickets are sold out for this, so although there would have been available at eventbrite.ie, but they're sold out, and we can do about that.
Sorry guys,
out of our hands. Matches announced include Mark Haskins to take on Bubblegum, Pete Dunne to take on Ryan Smile, Tyler Bates to take on Zack Sabre Jr. That's going to be a hell of a match.
Yeah.
Mike Bailey to take on Keith Lee. A match that was only made yesterday as well. A fatal 4-way for the OTT Neutral Gender Championship. Gender Neutral Championship. Session with Martina defends her title against Chuck Taylor, Be Cool and Angel Cruz. And Jordan Devlin to defend his NLW title against Timothy Thatcher. One thing I want to mention about this is the cage match not on anymore.
There is one only.
No, but the reason I mention it is that I don't see it advertised at all. Even the image for it I couldn't find.
Even for the tag titles?
Yeah, I don't see it anymore.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's on or not. Like, we'd advertised it, but we don't know for sure if it's on. So,
yeah.
Like, when we went through the previews before, like, we couldn't find that match anymore. I'm like, did they remove it or what? So we don't know that detail at this moment in time. We'll let you know as it comes closer. And obviously then OTT then finish off their homecoming weekend in Belfast on Sunday, February 4th in the Mandela Hall in Belfast. Tickets are still available for that on eventbrite.co.uk. Matches announced include Timothy Thatcher to take on Keith Lee and Chuck Taylor to take on Mark Haskins. So some pretty good matches there.
That second match is a class match.
It is a class match. Yeah. So let's now finish off our show now with our yes-nos.
Yes, no! Yes, no! Yes, no!
There's actually more yes-nos than I thought. I thought I had less than this, but we'll get to them very quickly. Here's a weird one. Scott Hall to wrestle at Raw's 25th anniversary.
No.
The reason I bring this up is because Scott Hall was on, I think, X-Pac's podcast, saying that, where they were teasing a rematch between them from their classic match on Raw, where it was when Sean Waltman was the 1-2-3 kid, and he had that famous upset, and it's like, well, it's about time you put me over.
I know. No
chance.
No.
Imagine that, though.
It would be class. But no.
WWE to become less strict on barred moves.
So, I hope so.
Yes. Yeah, you think it's heading that way?
Yeah. Now, from the selfish standpoint, the one thing I'd love to see back is chair shots to the head.
Really?
It's just, that's what I grew up watching, man.
I don't know. Well, it depends.
I know they'll never do it. Because with concussions nowadays being so prevalent, they'll never do it.
I'd be reluctant to that myself now, from Bast. Now, Bobby Lashley or Ethan Carter III to be at the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Both of them?
No.
Which one?
EC3.
EC3.
I think EC3 will be in it, yeah.
Well, what's stopping Lashley?
I don't know. I don't know whether there's any contract or anything agreed yet with WWE. I know there is with EC3.
There's a lot of suggestion of EC3, especially on the back of him cancelling the indie booking on the same day as the Rumble.
Exactly.
So it's ironic.
And the fact that he was spotted at the Performance Center as well.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Interesting. Here's one. Chris Jericho to appear at the Royal Rumble. Now, he's set for a Raw 25 apparently as well.
Yeah, he is.
So do you think he'll make an appearance at the Rumble as well? It's so weird.
It would be weird if he wasn't.
Yeah, maybe.
It's
just mind-boggling for me that he went from the match with Omega to here, like, you know.
I know. Well, that's the great thing about being a free
Jericho,
agent. You know,
that's what's cool about being Chris Jericho, I guess.
Yeah.
James Storm to join WWE this year.
No,
not at all.
I don't think so. It didn't go well last time. I don't think it'll go well this time.
He wants to join again, so it seems like
Does
he? Yeah, apparently he says he wants to join, but do you think they take him?
Would you put him back with Bobby Roode?
Not straight away.
No.
You
get your money
Bobby
back
Roode,
together.
Nah, Bobby Roode's doing far too well now by himself.
If, this is the perfect thing for WWE if they ever wanted to turn Bobby Roode heel.
Think so?
Yeah. Put him with beer money, and then they can change his music.
Yeah, and just have him hit, and then what? Have him hit him again with a glass bottle and cost him a title or something.
I don't know.
Who knows? Finn Balor to turn heel.
To make Balor Club work, I think it needs to.
I agree. No, I think so.
Yeah.
It would just make a lot more sense, I think,
Yeah.
to be fair. Roman Reigns to win the Royal Rumble.
God, no.
It wouldn't surprise me.
No.
No, under any circumstances.
No. They cannot have Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia after the last time he was in the Royal Rumble, which he won in Philadelphia.
How much has changed in the last few years since then, though?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough. No way. Sorry,
3
Dave,
years. 3 years later.
No, Dave. No.
No?
No. They could. The Rock couldn't even get him over that night. It's not going to happen. Philadelphia is not a Roman Reigns town, and it's never.
That's
going
probably
to be.
more. That's probably more of a reason why they won't. Why they might let him win, though. Do you not think that?
No.
No.
No way. No. No. No.
Oh, okay. I think there's a chance.
Well, why don't you put a bet on it?
I'm not putting a bet on it now.
Well then.
Not now, anyway. And finally, Daniel Bryan to come back at the Rumble match.
Oh, I'd love it so much. Now, he could win it.
Apparently, he's third favourite.
He was 10th, and he was gone up to third favourite now to win it. Just
behind Rhodes and Nakamura.
The countdown. The countdown just to happen, and then exactly, just for that music to come on, how the crowd, the roof be lifted off the place.
Literally,
no doubt about it.
I think so,
and I think the roof would be lifted off, or the ceiling, I should say, of Buskers, because you're downstairs in Buskers. The ceiling of Buskers would be lifted off.
Pretty much, yeah. It would rival the Hardys, I think, at WrestleMania, if not exceed it.
It would definitely exceed it.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's all the time for we have this week on the Kickout, your weekly pro wrestling guides right here on 90.3 Near FM on all good podcasting providers and on the EMC Podcast Network. We'll be back next week for more on the world of pro wrestling here and abroad. And make sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/The Kickout Wrestling, on Twitter at The Kickout Live, my own Twitter at Dave Bandana, and Darrah's at
Mars Bar.
Now we'll go out obviously with this, like Paige, obviously we know like there's all this uncertainty now where she may not wrestle again and stuff like that, which is such a shame. So I figure it's like if it is the last time she'll wrestle, like we don't know, it's fitting we go out with her music, like, you know, because
True.
And because especially for us, we're both fans of her. Like, you know, she's a fantastic wrestler and a great character. So we just hope for the best, like whatever happens to her. So we'll go on that. So until next week, I've been Dave Cullen. He's been Daragh Maher. This has been The Kickout. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great weekend.